This is now my third attempt at filming this video. The first time my camera stopped recording and the second time my memory card was full. So I don't know what's going on, but fingers crossed that we get this one. Hello everyone, happy Friday. My name is Abigail. I run a business called Toxic Vinyl Co. on Etsy, and you can find me under that name on TikTok and Instagram as well. Today we are going to talk about art prints. We're going to talk about the beginning stages of ordering art prints, what the process was like, the questions that I had to sort of find answers to in the beginning, and I will be making a follow-up video to this in 6 months or a year with a little more information, because as it stands right now, the information that I don't have is exactly what vendor I want to use to get these printed, as I do not have my own printer, and so I will be ordering these online long term. I don't have the answer to that just yet. I only have the samples that I got, which we will talk about. And I do not know yet exactly how well the sales or marketing is going to go for art prints. It is within my realm of work that I already do to sell art, but I usually sell originals and I usually sell vinyl record artwork, so I can only sell one, and then I'm putting in all of that active time to rephotograph and relist every single painting. So I was looking for a more passive way to sell my artwork, and I thought that I would try art prints. So we're going to talk a little bit about what the setup process was like, just from what I know right now, and then also what the cost of the initial things were. So obviously until I make sales, I'm losing a little in cost. It just goes into my expenses, and so I want to talk a little bit about that as well. The first step, obviously, to ordering art prints is to figure out what art you want to get printed and to take photographs of it. I did use my DSLR camera for this, but I know people do use their iPhones. I prefer the camera if you have one because the quality of the pictures that you can get is much higher, and therefore you can print them larger. For example, there are paintings that I originally did on a 6x8 board, and I was able to print them on an 8x10 because my camera takes really high quality photos, and I'm still able to retain that detail even in larger prints. So that's a reason to use a camera if you have one or if you can borrow one. So I took photos of my paintings outside in non-direct sunlight, and then I did use Lightroom to edit them because I already own a Lightroom subscription for photography reasons, and in Lightroom I'm able to just edit the brightness a little bit and fix any sort of flecks or spots that need to get kind of like band-aided over. That's not a word. People do take photos of their art on their iPhone, and they do edit in their iPhone. It's something you can do. Because I have the equipment, I thought I might as well use it. So I did use Lightroom. I exported all of these pictures once they were done into just a file on my computer, and I chose to resize each of them on my computer to the sizes I was ordering. So let me show you the samples that I have here. I did order 3 sizes. I ordered 3 of the paintings in an 8x10, and then I ordered 5 in total on 5x7s and 4x6s. So these are my 8x10s on glossy paper. These are the samples I ordered. There's 2 of them. I figured, I'm taking a guess about which ones. Oh, I don't have the other one here. This one is also in an 8x10. I'm taking a guess based on my personal preference about which ones might sell in larger sizes. These were all small paintings initially, but I was able to get good photos of them and blow them up larger. So I thought these were, I don't know if that's an imperfection. I thought these were the best ones to offer in a larger size. So these samples I bought from CVS same day pickup, and while I don't intend to use CVS forever, and I'll tell you why, this is awesome for samples because they're across the street from me. I ordered them the same day. The website is easy. I could only order glossy. I couldn't order matte for same day pickup, but they do have a matte option if you're willing to wait a couple days. It's on a fairly thick paper. Just realized I'm using a new mic and that was probably really loud. Fairly thick paper, and they came with, they're really beautiful. They're bright and exciting. My only complaint so far is that the small ones and the large ones of the exact same prints have completely different coloration. So if you look at the clouds, I don't know how well you can see through this camera, but if you look at the clouds in each, they're just different, which is obviously an inconsistency we don't want long term. But if you ever were to get an order and not have one in stock, using CVS same day pickup is like, it's awesome. It's awesome. If you have a CVS where you are, I think this is a really good way to get started. I have not chosen a long-term vendor yet because I have not made enough sales to want to do the investment into ordering all of these in bulk. I really want to get a sense of how best to market them and exactly which paintings are going to sell before I order them in bulk. So I can't give you the information yet about which vendor I have chosen. If you're an artist and you sell art prints and you have a vendor that you like, please let me know. I'd love to get to test some of them out and make a video about that for you guys. So one of the big questions I had going into making prints is borders. This is a question that I just could not find an answer to online. Do you put a border on your prints? Why do you put a border on your prints? How thick is the border? What's the purpose of it? And what I do know is that you can buy frames that have a mat board in them. So this is a 5x7 frame for a 4x6 picture, but I have two options with this. I can put a 5x7 in here and the edges of my art get cut off, or I can put a 4x6 in here and you wouldn't want a border on it because you'd want the whole painting to be showing because there's already a border in the frame. Then when I was thinking about doing a bordered option, and I actually put the borders in online, I created them in Photoshop, they were too big. Like if you have an 8x10 painting meant for 5x7 frame, your border is inches thick. I mean, it's huge, and it just looked awful. It didn't seem right. I started Googling like art prints available and finding other people's listings, and I just couldn't find anyone with like really thick borders that seemed designed for that. Also, why would you pay for an 8x10 print size when your picture's actually 5x7? The border thing really confuses me. I chose not to do it because I might change my mind later, but as a starting point, I was like, if you're ordering an 8x10 of the artwork, you get 8x10 of the artwork. You can then decide what kind of frame you want to buy for it, how big you want it to be, whatever. But this just seemed like the straightforward way to do it for me. And because my paintings go all the way to the edges, I didn't want to lose any painting by trying to like make it smaller and add a border in and figure out how big the border was going to be. So this is the way I chose to do it. But if you know about borders on prints and how big they're supposed to be and what the purpose is, go ahead, drop a comment. Thank you. So that was my big question. Let's talk about cost. So these samples, I ended up ordering 13 prints in total for samples, and it totaled me about $11 on CVS's website. So that's probably about the most expensive. It's almost $1 per print that you're ever going to have. I think most websites, they end up being significantly under that if you're ordering in bulk. But for samples and for same day pickup, that's how much it ended up costing me. And then my cost on Amazon to order shipping supplies for this came out to $92. That includes do not bend stickers, rigid mailers, a pack of like 9x10 cellophane sleeves, and a pack of 5x7 cellophane sleeves. These are my initial setup costs that I wanted. Unfortunately, I couldn't get my cellophane sleeves in less than 1,000 pack on Amazon. So I have 2,000 cellophane sleeves, and whether or not I can sell that many art prints, I'll let you know in the follow-up video. But as it stands right now, that is what the initial cost ended up being, $92 from Amazon for some supplies, which will hold me for a while, and then the sample art prints, which were the $11. You're gonna then add the cost of whatever your actual art print order is from wherever you're ordering it from. So you're looking at over $100 in startup for something like this. And while this is passive income, and once you start, you can sort of have it forever, as far as not having to relist it on your shop, the downside is that things like this can take a long time to sell, I think, depending on who you are. But prints are not my normal product, and so it's going to take a little while for me to warm up my community to the idea of prints. And then of course any new painting I want to make into a print has to get photographed and ordered and paid for, and that's a new cost every single time. So I'm a little nervous about it. I definitely, I've spent over $100 on the startup, and I have not yet seen that return on investment. So for a little while, I'm not going to be making like any money off of these until I can get the return on investment from that initial cost. But hopefully it's something that ends up going well. Like I said, I'll make a follow-up video and let you guys know how that actually ends up evening out cost-wise and how much I end up making like per print and whatnot based on the price I've listed them for, which I can go into in another video if the pricing is something people are interested in. So let me know if you have any questions. If you like art prints and you want to check out my shop, you can look up Toxic Vinyl Co. on Etsy. I hope you all have a lovely Friday. I will see you next week.